Hello and welcome to this Ableton overview. Right now we are looking at the session view in Ableton. For the options that you have in Ableton, there are two views that you can actually choose from. The one we're in right now is obviously called session view. You can use your tab key and that'll take you over to arrangement view. This one is a little bit more familiar to people that might have used Logic or Pro Tools in the past. It's more of a timeline left to right play option. It can be a little bit more intermediate or advanced. But if you're familiar with that, this might actually be a better platform for you. And once again, you can toggle back and forth either with the buttons that are up here at the top right, or you can just use the tab key and that'll set you up on whatever platform you want to use. One thing I will let you know is whatever platform you start in, you need to finish in. I can't do half of a song set list in session view and then the other half in arrangement view. Ableton's just not set up like that. So whatever you start in, you'll finish in. Let me also clue you in on this. This is going to be geared more towards churches, so for worship leaders, music directors, your creative guys that are junkies that like to chop up songs behind the scenes. This is going to be more for the church service setting on a Sunday or for your ministry services. This is not going to be more like DJ or special effects or anything. If you need that information, that might not be this video for you. But for churches, hopefully this will give you a basic understanding of how you can use Ableton to enhance your services as far as supportive audio that you might need that you can't provide live on stage. Okay, so let's get down to business. Basically, what you're looking at right now is the screen that you will load to whenever you first open the Ableton program. All I'm going to do is give you the basic essentials with this part. I'm not going to go too much into detail. That'll be on future videos. But right now, I just kind of want you to know how to navigate this screen and how to get to certain areas that you need in order to make the song work the way that you're looking to do that. So what you're looking up here, I'm just going to start at the top left-hand corner. You'll see this gray box along the top. There's two buttons on the outside. These two options we don't really utilize, the link and the one bar. This is more towards measure and quantizing the song. You don't need to worry about that with this particular option. This is a very simple setup and an easy, quick plug and play for setting up your song list. This goes a little bit more into an advanced option. We don't utilize that because most of the songs that we put in are already edited for what we need them for. The next button that you'll have over here is the tap button. You can use this to basically tap tempo out any songs if you're trying to get the tempo for a song if you need that. Most of the songs that we have, as you can see here, 152, 138 for Bold AI Approach. These are songs that we already have tempos for, so you can personally set those just by tapping in there, and you can put the BPM right into it. Also, this will be your tempo nudge. This can slow down the tempo or speed up the tempo. And then you have your time signature right here. You don't necessarily have to have it exactly to the time signature of the song. We prefer to have the click on every other beat with the accent. So usually we will set this to 2/4 instead of 4/4. So if I can get the click to turn on here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So you'll notice it's on every other accent here. And now that I've moved it to 4/4, I've got the accent on the 4 count as opposed to the 2 count. But that's just a little bit about that there. You'll notice that I had to turn this on. When you click on this, it turns yellow. And that'll bring me to my next point. Everything that you see here that's in yellow is active. So that is Ableton's way of telling you that that track is ready to fire or that option is turned on. So right now the metronome is turned off and now the metronome is turned on. That's all there is to it. So just like these tracks here, we'll get to this in a moment, but these are where you would load your tracks to. So these are basically your audio areas. And then if you wanted to mute an entire grouping of instruments, you could come right down here, and for this example, you can just click on number 3 and it turns that off for that particular grouping of instrumentation. One last thing I'll tell you, I didn't remember to do this at the beginning, but if you don't have this option turned on, especially if you're learning the program, go to your view on the tab button here and turn on info. What this will do is everything that you scroll over, you'll notice at the bottom left-hand corner in this box, it'll give you a brief overview of what that button does. So in case you forget something or you run across something you're not familiar with, this can be really helpful, just like a quick synopsis of what that button can do. So moving right along, this is actually going to be the timeline guide, I guess, where you could see where you're at in the song. As soon as you start loading songs, this is how you can fast forward and rewind within the song. You can click inside the box. If you move up with your mouse, it'll bring the song forward. If you move back with the mouse, it'll bring the song backwards. What I'll also show you is you can open up another view option that allows you to see the overview of the song, and you'll see that this populates right here. This little grid that you see up at the top kind of looks like a treble clef. As you navigate through a song, you'll see that this little bar will actually move along with the song as well, so that you don't have to go fast forward and rewind. You can actually click to a specific part in the song's timeline to get to if you needed to jump quicker to a chorus or to a bridge or something along those lines as well. Obviously your play button is here, stop button is here, and the rest of these that you see are going to be all for recording. We don't use Ableton for any of the recording here, so you can omit these for now. And then this is your looping section. At times in a song, we'll need to have an area where there's a moment for the worship leader to pastor the moment or speak to the moment, and it just throws it into a loop to allow us, basically 30 seconds, 45 seconds, or however long we need until we're ready to move on to the next part of the song. The limitation that we have here is we can only put one loop in per session view. However, in arrangement view, you can put in as many loops as you want. Maybe there's different segments of the service that you're going to want to be able to put multiple loops in. You can do that at a different section. But for here, Ableton only allows in session view one loop to happen. So just keep that in mind for your future programming. Also, what you'll see here, and I'm going to come back over here to the left side, a few things that we utilize are the audio effects. We can put any one of these audio effects on any audio track that we put into the program. The ones that we most commonly use are the reverb and then also the 3-channel EQ. I'll explain a little bit more about that in future videos, but for right now, this is just letting you know that audio effects are there and we can manipulate them. And then also you can add where your sequence files are. So if you've got songs that you've downloaded from multi-tracks, you can quickly access them by adding the folder that they're in on your computer. So for right now, mine are already loaded, but let's just say, for example, I had them in a different folder and I needed to add that for quick access. I can go right here to click Add Folder. All I got to do is go to the drive where I have the files. And as soon as it comes up, let's say I want to add this arrangement here, and then I can open. I believe I already have that one added right there. So yeah, so we've got the arrangement, but that would populate it for you quickly so that you can have quick access to the files. Now, you can also click and drag directly from your Finder window, but this is basically a little bit easier because you've got everything right here on site for you. Moving to the right here, these are MIDI triggers that you can set up for the song. We don't particularly use them in the session view. We do, however, use them in the arrangement view. So for now, I'm just going to delete these so that they're not confusing anything. So we're going to take those guys out. I just used the delete button to do that. And the same thing with the reverb and the delay. We're going to use those options whenever we get over to arrangement, and there's a simpler option to set these up within session view. So I'm going to delete these guys out as well. Okay, and on to this last section over here. This is your master section. This is basically going to control all of the audio tracks that you'll load in this area. Your song is attached to this particular scene. So as you'll see, this light gray bar goes from left to right all the way across the top. This will be my first song. So let's just say that this is song 1. You'll have all your files loaded from your guide to maybe your electric guitar, and then maybe you'll have a keys track, and maybe you'll have a synthesizer on there. You'll notice that the theme here is all of these files are going to be in the same horizontal line as your song number 1. You can also have song number 2, 3, 4, and so on. This is unlimited. As long as you have the audio tracks, Ableton will play as many songs as you want to load up into this particular file. But all we're doing is we're loading the tracks from left to right. You would do the same thing with song 2 and song 3. I'll show you how to build these songs in the next video. But for now, I just want you to know that these are where the audio tracks go. This is the song area where it contains all information from your song name to the key of the song to the BPMs and the key signature as well. The last few things I need to finish up are on this top right-hand corner over here. Don't worry about the pencil right now or the keyboard. The main things that you're going to be focusing on are these items right here. This key option is going to allow you to assign MIDI triggers. So let's say that you have a keyboard player who has an additional keyboard and you want to connect it to your Ableton running laptop so that your keyboardist can run all of the tracks from their position on stage. Or maybe you want to be able to do it from your own keypad from the laptop. Maybe you've got a laptop sitting in front of your drummer. What you can do is hit the key button, and you'll see everywhere that's in orange that you can assign to a particular button on your keypad. Or the same thing for your MIDI trigger. So if you've got an external USB pad, maybe like a Boss or an Alesis or a regular keyboard, you can click the MIDI trigger. You'll notice it'll highlight in blue this time. It's just to give you some clear definition between the keypad in orange and the MIDI pad in blue. And then as soon as you get all of your tracks loaded, this is going to be something to keep in mind up here at the top right. This is your system resources. This is letting you know how much pressure your tracks are putting on the resources that your computer has available. So your processor speed, your RAM that you have available. If it's getting up to the 75–85% range, you may notice that Ableton is going to take out certain tracks to keep the click going or keep core tracks going. I can't say this with any level of certainty other than what I've just experienced, but I've noticed that everything that starts from track number 1 here is your priority, and as it goes further out into your track, the depth basically drops the priority of that audio. So for example, if your computer starts getting overloaded, the tracks that are going to make sure to take priority are your click, and starting from track number 1, if it can still play track number 1 and not bog your computer down, it'll do it. If it can do track number 2, it'll keep playing that one as well. But maybe 3 and 4 are bogging the track down. This is something to keep in mind as you build your songs so that you don't overload your computer. But for the overall tools that you'll use for just the basic session view and input for your set list, this is pretty much a basic overview. You should have a general idea of how things move around and how everything works. So keep an eye on the next video where we build a set list together, and I hope this is helpful.